bring out the gold from the most recent OlimoLeague. It is a team fight as spawning down here in the bottom position for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up for Cure. And his opponent up here in the top. Give it up for Dragon Phoenix Gaming's ZEST. So, like I said, these come from the OlimoLeague number 222. A fantastic group of games. So make sure you support the Patreon and make sure you check out all the hard work that OlimoLeague puts on for such an amazing event. It really gives these guys another opportunity to shine. I know it kind of seems like there's a lot of small-time SC2 tournaments, but that is how you keep a scene alive. And this is one of the most long-term events in StarCraft 2 in recent years. It's been going on for literal years at this point, and giving out I'm sure tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of prize pool already. Now these guys are going to be gunning for that prize for this one, as we do see ZEST going to be coming in, getting a little bit of a scout, as Cure going to be going up to that first Reaper. This time he just wants to stay a little bit safe in terms of that scouting, as ZEST can be a little bit tricky early on, as you know, he does have some very aggressive, very early builds that he can utilize against a Terran player opponent. And so even just going to play it even doubly safe, make sure that he does get the scout off on that natural going down. And kind of just taking a look at it, is going to be an Adept first. The probe did come home, so there is not really a chance of having a proxy out on the map. Instead, it is going to be that Stargate play. So more than likely what's going to happen here is he's going to throw down maybe 2 or 3 Adepts, maybe 4 if he's feeling very fancy, and then kind of go for a little bit of a push while the Oracle hits the main base. I think that is a pretty powerful build here, especially since he did go for Reaper first, because there's not really going to be a ton of Marines out to deal with both areas. And so you really do have to play it a little bit safe as Cure. Maybe take that factory, which is all the way over here, and start pumping out. Yeah, Widow Mines can work. The Cyclones as well can be pretty good. I'm also going to turn down my volume a little bit so I stop deafening everybody in this area. There we go. But now, we did see that Adept come in. He saw pretty much everything, and without that tech lab, it's pretty easy to tell that this is going to be a Widow Mine drop. So from here, ZEST is just going to be pumping out those Phoenix behind that Oracle, which, by the way, did come home for just a second before turning back around. But yeah, the Phoenix are going to keep you perfectly safe versus this. Once you get about 2, 3, you can even go up to 5. Then, you know, you just start transitioning into your next stage of tech. More than likely, Colossus. Did the Oracle just go down? Very uncharacteristic of ZEST losing that Oracle very early on. Usually his Oracle control is considered some of the top in the world. Now the Phoenix are in a bit of an interesting position. He's using the Adepts to kind of scout around, keep an eye out for that medevac. It is spotted. So now the Phoenix are just going to be like a bunch of vultures going straight for the kill. Just going to drop a couple of Widow Mines here. I don't know if ZEST saw it. It looks like he did, just with how he's kind of setting up these Adepts. Gets the lift up without going off, but that is going to be the death of these Widow Mines. And now we do see ZEST going to be transitioning, getting that third base up, getting the Twilight Council, a forge for the upgrades. And he's going to be looking pretty here against Cure, who is still only on 2 bases. Doesn't really have a ton of production available to him. Hasn't even started combat shields. Alright, that's pretty interesting. Usually you do want to kind of get those at the same time. I guess he's wanted to be a little bit more careful with his gas. But yeah, from here, we've kind of just gone into the late game with a bit of a whimper. Not really too much happening. It looks like the Phoenix took a little bit of damage. Is there a hidden Widowmine somewhere? No, it does not look like that was the case. We did have the medevac coming on in as the Widowmine does get cleaned up, so nothing really going to be happening from that drop, as that was only 1 Widowmine left. Ooh, okay. It's going to be Charge Lot, Archon, High Templar. So now Cure going to be moving out with quite a few of these Marines. I don't think they will hit before that charge is complete. As well, that Templar Archives will be done by the time he makes it in here. It looks like he's just waiting to lift up to make sure that the Phoenix aren't there. And yeah, the Phoenix are on the other side, getting a deny on that 3rd base. Very nice. But that is going to leave this position open, so you will lose the Cybernetics core. Not the biggest of deals, because you are going for more Zealot heavy focus, and you already do have the High Templars out. But you know, it's still in case you want to get some upgrades for that Phoenix count, which is still growing. In case you want to warp in the Stalkers to deal with pretty much anything. Blink is a very useful tool versus Terran. Then you do need to remake that in a much safer position. So the Zealot count is nice and healthy. The Phoenix looking to kind of bait out some of those Widowmine shots. Remember, it takes more than just 1 Widowmine to kill off a Phoenix. So it can be good to kind of use them to just send it over into your opponent's army. You can use them for a lot of friendly fire damage. It's really fun when we do get to see that, as it's a lot of skill. It takes a lot of ability in order to do it successfully. And we do see Zest going to be utilizing a lot of these Zealots. Going to run by looking for the 3rd base, which is still not down. I think he forgot that he delayed that for a little bit. And now Cure is just focused quite heavily on this position. The wall is absolutely not complete, so those Zealots will get on. And now there is a big timer for Cure to do damage on the other side of the map. The SCVs falling like hotcakes. The force fields are gone. The Phoenix baiting a lot of those shots, like I just said, into the waiting bio. But now that the Archons are gone, it's just pure Zealots on this side of the map, and it looks like he's going to catch some of the SCVs coming across. Ooh, I don't know about this. It's still a tricky position for Zest, but he has got 28 workers, and he will be able to force this back. Some good kiting here from Cure. Just going to try and mitigate some of that damage. Those probes, though, have not been mining for such a long time. They were pulled with the entire army. And now Cure is going to reinforce this position. He's not done yet. Unfortunately for him, Zest is just waiting patiently on both sides for Cure to go a little bit too far forward. And now that time has come. The Widowmine going to get one more shot off. Not really the best. So the Zealots are going to be able to jump right on top. We do see a small little smattering of units over here by the 3rd base, but they do not have medevac support. So they will need to back off. And honestly, overall, I think Cure might be able to recover here if he doesn't take any damage within the next couple of minutes. Because he does have his third base down, he does have access to a lot of mules, and now even the Zealot drop is not going to get a ton done, while Cure is still looking for some little room to poke over here on Zest. So now the supplies still in Zest's favor. He's just going to continuously dive on top of this, but he keeps doing it into a bit of a minefield. He will be able to deflect it, but now Cure does have a huge army back at home. I mean, take a look at this. It's currently 71 to 57, and the upgrades are going to be in his favor in just a couple of minutes. Now, one thing, though, I would like to see, because Cure is kind of just doing the, I'm going to try and force feed you your own, your own throat here. Only getting Marines and Marauders with a couple of a couple of mines in support. So he's not really able to utilize them effectively against the Archon count. You definitely want some ghosts in order to kind of deflect this a little bit more. That splash damage is fantastic. But actually, the Archon count just went from 2 to 0. So Cure just moving his way forward. He's trying to trade efficiently, and I mean, he is able to do so. So really hard for Zest to kind of move in efficiently versus those mines. But at the same time, Cure, you're on a bit of a timer with how long this is going to work for you, as we already have the transition to either Colossus or Disruptors on the way. Now 3 more SCVs going down. He's starting to mine out the main base. The Natural's getting a little bit slim as well. As we do see on the other side, Zest might want to be looking to take another base soon, too. Cure has taken the supply lead for the first time in a while, as we do have a little bit of a citizen's arrest on those Zealots. Going to clean those up. But now Cure, with a huge army, just going to be looking to push in. He's got to be careful of these choke points because there is so much energy available in those sentries. You know, he did build one Viking somewhere out on the map. Oh, he's going to be watching the replay. He probably watched the replay of that and said, oh my god, how did I miss that? There we go. He does find that, so that's a little bit of damage for Zest gone. A scan going down, revealing that the army is out of position, so he's going to go for a humongous Doom Drop. And now the Stalkers are way out of position to deal with this. They are all going to have to blink back and wait for reinforcements. Now, while all this is going on, some more harassment for Zest on the other side of the map. Gets the third base to lock on down, and Cure not really getting the trades that he necessarily needed fully, as that Colossus is still alive, the Immortal's still alive. All of those high-tier, expensive gas units are in, but hold that thought as we have a fantastic secondary drop right there, and now it's a big game of whack-a-mole for Zest. Oh, but again, Cure is on a bit of a timer here. He's only mining off his 2 bases. His third base still not back in position. And as he gets kind of cleaned up here, where are those medevacs? They're right here, but they are looking very, very skint. The one good thing for Zest, though, or Cure, however, is just the fact that Zest has not been mining off of 4th base. He has been stuck on 3-base economy for quite a bit of time. And, you know, if he can kind of keep trading efficiently, then he would be able to kind of stay even in that regard. But honestly, I don't really see that happening now that we have all of these Colossi remaking the Templar Archives, but that did get sniped. And yeah, I mean, mules are good, but when you have to drop every last one of them on one base, that just shows how badly you're hurting for money. So Cure did get caught. A lot of units just dying right there. The supply heavily in ZEST's favor, and honestly, it's just a much better army. Cure focusing way too heavily on this very basic bio army, as we do have +3 armor, very late, very behind the +3 attack. And now even getting the medevac snipes is a really big deal because he's still not mining this 5th and 6th gas geyser. So any gas unit is very expensive for him. I think from here, ZEST can just start to steamroll him a little bit. Push in, do a lot of damage. He doesn't even need to fully commit. He just needs to get a base kill, and he's golden. As we did see that one of mine going off, getting one kill, probably a Zealot. 14, 16 workers total going down. And now in a big Hail Mary play, Cure will be going for the main base, but ZEST has a recall available to him. Using it on the natural just to make sure he doesn't necessarily die. And those Colossus are going to rain hellfire on this army. I don't even know if it was necessarily worth it to get that Nexus because it wasn't really mining anything. You know, it's completely mined out there, and you know, in terms of recall, the natural still is pretty close, so there's no point in remaking it. So now a scan going to reveal the Stalkers are still there, but gonna go for it anyway. That Marauder's stuck on the bottom ledge. The rest of the army is in position. And Cure, I'm worried that he might have thrown some of these units away, so now he does need to get rid of the Stalkers if he hopes to survive. Oh yeah, only surviving with about one medevac full of units. Not the best situation. He's starting to run out of medevacs here, honestly. One thing I'm just really worried about is, while he has established his third base again, at the end of the day, you haven't been mining that for very long. You haven't been able to get the minerals necessary to tech up. I think teching up is pretty much his only chance of winning this game. This army from ZEST, even though it might be a little bit smaller in terms of total unit size, yeah, it's a lot tankier, a lot beefier. Cure's just really having trouble getting those effective trades like he was early on, now that the upgrades are relatively equal. 3-2. Not too bad. Push his way in. That's going to get deflected on the other side. The medevacs starting to go down, so those will get deflected. And that is the sound that Stream Raiders is ready to go. So we'll be getting into that right after this game. Another big Doom drop going to be going across. He's just doing everything that he can to try and survive, but now even the rest of his SCVs going down to small numbers of Zealots. The third base, which is really the floated main base, I'd imagine, goes down. And I think from here, Cure is pretty much just dead. Yeah, it looks like he agrees with me as he does tap out. GG is called. So you know what that means, guys. It means it is time for battle. Let us see if we have enough to make it through. I saw that there was defeat here earlier, but you know what? The best way to get rid of defeat is to try again. So let's pull up Stream Raiders right here. That is... There we go. So taking a look at the unit count. Not that many, but it is the first battle of the day. This is going to be a pretty hard one, as we do have a lot of epic slimes, epic spiders. But guess what, guys? They are level 1, and I think our units, level 30, level 5, we are much better than these guys. Let's crush through them. And here we go. So it looks like most of us are tanking to the right side. I like that strategy. You just overwhelm the left flank and we can make it through. The monsters are getting a little bit close for comfort on the right though. We are overwhelmed on that side. And Sushi with 21 kills. And at the end of the day, it looks like we were able to succeed. Doing pretty good so far. Just need a couple of more. Come on, guys, hold. Wunderbush, lead the charge. You are our champion today. Oh, what a handsome paladin. I bet the guy who put that down is incredibly attractive. But GG. That's why you never give up. And in terms of this, I think the man who led us through so much carnage, Wunderbrush. You have earned this reward. Use it wisely. And there you have that one. That means we are going to get the next battle set up as we hop into game number 2 of this quarterfinal match from the OlimoLeague. There we go. Get one thing set up here. My hotkeys were messed around. How dare someone mess with something as sacred as hotkeys? As we have up here, spawning in the top right corner of Pillars of Gold. Give it up for Cure. And his opponent, down here in the bottom, he is ZEST. So the big thing about Pillars of Gold, it is a little bit bigger, I like to think, in terms of the difference between it and Oxide. That rush distance is just a couple of seconds longer, which can be pretty good if you're going for some sort of shenanigan play. Or, you know, getting that information can be a little bit trickier. Now, I'm curious to see whether Cure does decide to skip that first Reaper like a lot of Terran players have decided to do. It is a lot safer on this map. I think just because it's a little bit tricky to get into your opponent's main base, there's not really that many angles you can get in efficiently, so any sort of information not really going to be too worth it, as we do have ZEST going for a bit of a change up here, getting that pylon down. This is more likely going to be a parting build. So Cure, though, does come in. He gets a good recognition of what's going on. He sees that there's no additional pylons being dropped, and that's really got to start bringing in some alarm bells for this guy, because once you get in with that first SCV, you want to see at least 2 pylons, because ZEST is currently at 23 supply, which means that if he doesn't throw down another pylon, he's supply blocked. And since it's not in his base, the only other option is it being right here. So Cure is able to find it. He won't be able to kill it necessarily because that first Adept is going to get over there in time. But still, knowing that this is here does mean you can kind of change things up slightly to make sure that you do have enough units back at home in order to defend it. Looks like the Adept is actually just going to ignore the Reaper? Okay. So trying to hit a little bit of an earlier timing in order to be a little bit more aggressive, but will get deflected right there. He does get inside, but the SCV is already in the bunker, being very, very safe. Oh my goodness. 18 health. That Reaper has got to be feeling pretty bad about that one. He was about to be the hero of the Terran army. But now these Adepts are going to be hitting a very crisp timing. And honestly, I don't know if the bunker is going to be enough because he's just going to shade right on past it. Want to see if he already going down. The siege tank is almost out, so the high ground at the very least is secure. I don't necessarily see ZEST going to be breaking through. And yeah, there you have it. Getting rid of the Reaper, who was trying to come in for another cheeky try. Couple of SCBs pulled, and the siege tank getting some good fire off. The SCV needs to repair, but that will go down. Unfortunately, a little bit too late for ZEST, as he is forced back to the gateway. Now, as Cure, you do have to be a little bit careful. You cannot just move out and engage into that because you know the threat of another Warpin coming on in. Looks like he doesn't care, though. Will get a couple of units picked off very quickly as the Stalkers do outrange the Marines. But yeah, now with the siege tank sieged up, those Stalkers not going to be too hard for Cure to deal with. And he's just going to get the pylon. I would suggest from here, get that siege tank. Please, please, please don't try and stay this far out from your base. But hey, you know, it looks like Cure does want to be pretty aggressive. Excuse me while I quiet that down. But yeah, he does want to be aggressive as he does have that extra racks already in. And that does mean that he's going to be going for a big push here soon. Special one swap from SC2 to Brood War midstream for no blink Stalkers in Brood War. But you know what? That is correct. But they do have Defilers and Lurkers. And Scarab Beetles. So yeah, not much better, to be completely honest, with the AI in Brood War, but we do have that attack going to be coming into the newly brought down third base. And yeah, this position, it is much better for ZEST to kind of just say, get out of here. Gets the cancel and try and defend somewhere else. It looks like he's just going to go for a big attack as he has re-established that position on the near the natural. Scarabs? Oh, I mean, yeah, Reavers. Scarabs are what they fire, I believe. It's been a while since I played Brood War. Now the Zealots do find the wall down. They have a charge. ZEST in a good position to get in. As Oh yeah, a big warp in here is going to force the rest of Kyo's armies home. Stim is going to help out a little bit with the kiting, but at the same time losing 21 workers. Oh, this is just not good for Kyo. Oh, even gonna add on some DTs. I didn't even see the Dark Shrine going down. Yeah, 30 workers coming in. If Cure holds this, I will literally win BlizzCon next year. But you know what? He does have the siege tanks in a decent position to kind of bait some of the reinforcements out. But yeah, he is. Yeah, there's just not really too much I can say about this one. GG is called, and ZEST will take this series. He moves on from this event.